setting up your first Airbnb.
Guarantee most people skip number 9. Hi, I'm Sarah Karakayan.
And I'm Annette Grant. And together we are
Thanks for visiting.
We've been hosting for well over a decade, welcomed tens of thousands of guests, and earned thousands of 5-star reviews.
Our portfolio continues to bring in over 1.5 million year over year, and supported not only by the industry's leading brands, but also some of the biggest media outlets.
And we're here to help you with your furnished rental. Step 1, you're going to create your LLC and get your business banking account.
I would say that a lot of people don't do this step.
I didn't. Don't be me. Was
Commingling.
Oh my gosh, commingling funds. That was not a fun thing to unravel. That is why we make this step number 1, because if you can start off right from the beginning, knowing your numbers and having them separated, you are going to be off to the races.
First of all, when we say create your LLC, we should caveat that you should talk to an attorney and your CPA and make sure you're setting up this entity in a way that really serves you and your goals. But having it in some sort of protection, entity protection, is going to be really good for you, especially if it's a piece of real estate like it is, where you are open for liability with your personal assets, with other assets you have. Like, this will help you protect it. But again, we are not attorneys, we are not CPAs, so just this is just your, go talk to someone who knows more about you.
Friendly reminder.
And your goals. When it comes to business banking, we do have a favorite bank that we've been using for a couple of years now that we'd be happy to share with you.
Yes, because you can do everything online.
It's so good.
No having to go into the physical location anymore.
It's called Relay, and we'll link down below, but you can set it up all online. They will ask you for your business information. So like your EIN number, which is a number that the IRS will give to you once you set up your LLC or your entity.
It's like your business social security number.
Right. And then you'll need the name of your business when you're setting up this business banking, and anyone who owns a property with you who you want to have access to this business banking, they'll ask for their information too. But this is so great because when you set up your Airbnb and you get to the part where it asks you where you want your funds to be sent to, you can just have it sent already ready to go. That bank account and that routing number goes straight to that account. Get properly licensed and insured.
Let's start with the license. This is one of those things you are going to have to do your research again, that you might need to have a license in your area, you might not. Heck, we know a lot of hosts that they didn't need one, but by the time they actually got up and running, they did need one. So you are going to have to do your due diligence here.
Now that you're a host, it is literally your job to stay up to date with regulations in the area in which you have your short-term rental. Not knowing is not an excuse. They will still fine you. They will still shut you down. So you need to know, because it can change at any time. You also need to be properly insured.
Yes. And this is before you open. Like, once you purchase that property, you want to get insured right away, because even when you're moving your furniture in, you want to make sure you're covered.
Let's give you some really basic things to talk with your insurance broker about when you make that phone call. So as you're setting up your Airbnb physically, you could be making these calls, and I would get some quotes too from different insurance brokers, but ask them questions such as will you cover my property because it's being run as a short-term rental? Do not hide this from them, because you want to make a claim about personal injury, or something happens to your property and they learn that a short-term rental guest was in there and you're not covered. Then what's the point of you paying and doing all those things? It's not gonna get covered. Loss of revenue. Will they give you money should you have to shut down for any reason? Whether it's like fire, water, squatter, bed bugs, right? Loss of income. And all those things I just said. Will they help you cover those things? Are those claims that you can submit for? It's expensive to get rid of bed bugs. It's expensive to get rid of a squatter. It's expensive to clean up, a bathroom if the
water damage.
Right? So ask all these questions and document, and really make sure that you understand what they cover and what they don't.
And let them know, are you personally going to be using it? Is it going to be a short-term rental, potentially a mid-term rental? Will it ever sit vacant? You want to make sure you're giving them as the full story that you can. Number 3, you're going to want to learn your market and shop your competition.
You're a business owner now. Remember tip number 1 where I told you to open up an LLC and that business banking? So now that you're a business owner, you always need to know what your competition is doing. What are they doing well? What are they doing better than you? What aren't they doing that you should be doing? You need to be on top of this at all times so that you can be informed and make decisions on how you operate your short-term rental.
And what's great about doing this right now is before you go and do all the design and furnishing on your property, you can see maybe what is missing in the marketplace. Are there amenities that you could bring in? Or are there people that are really crushing it in your marketplace with certain amenities? So you want to do this research ahead of time before you go way too far with design and furnishing.
TFB pro tip. This is a little advanced. I know it's your first Airbnb, so.
But let's go next level. If you're going to do it, let's do it.
Yeah. So what you can do, a little trick, is go, like Annette just said, go to all your competition, like all the short-term rentals that are surrounding where you're going to be, not all of them, but a good amount of them. Go to their review section, right? And I want you to just highlight, copy as many as you can. Just keep letting your website page scroll down. Okay, end it at some point, right? And then you can go over to the free version of ChatGPT, and you're going to paste what you just copied into ChatGPT. And before you press enter, you're going to say, you're going to prompt the GPT, and you're going to say, pull out from this list of reviews anything that guests are saying they love about the property. And then ChatGPT is going to tell you what guests are raving about. And then you can do that whole thing again and say, tell me what guests are complaining about. And this is a really cool way for you to have this list of things that you want to make sure you include, and of the things that guests are complaining about. It's like, how can you nip those things in the bud?
It's like essentially hosting hundreds of people before you've even opened your doors for business.
Yes.
You don't want to be caught running back and forth to Target or ordering on Amazon or Instacart in between guests, so make sure that you watch our Simple Supply System video and then get our download below.
4, find and train your cleaner.
It's so important, and it's going to continue to be important throughout your whole entire hosting career.
And it's okay if like the finding your cleaner part is something that you have to like repeat, right? Like maybe you have, we do recommend having a backup cleaner. Maybe a backup cleaner to your backup cleaner. You can never have too many like backups, but also maybe the first cleaner you meet, maybe you even get to training them and you're not vibing. It's okay. Like keep looking, because this role, this relationship has to like,
it's the backbone
awesome.
of your business.
Yes.
And the reason that we're having you do this early on is you can start training them ahead of time. You don't want to be caught with your first reservation and have no idea who's going to clean during that turnover, or there's going to be cleaning that needs to take place before you even have that first overnight stay. So we recommend, this is something we don't want you to rush. We want you to make sure you find a great person, and so you're going to do this ahead of time.
Now, it's your first Airbnb, so maybe you're going to clean it.
Absolutely, you should clean it. We recommend that, clean it a few times. So you guys say, what tools do they need? What's missing? What are some things that are awkward in your house? Because, for instance, try to make people put bunk beds in places or push beds up against the wall. You try to change those sheets. It's not fun.
Yeah, it is good for you to clean it. But if you're planning on, if that's your plan, to clean your Airbnb as part of that revenue that you're going to bring in and to yourself, like additional revenue, that's okay too. This does not mean that you shouldn't already start planning, like Annette said, like, because we're going to move into furnishing your first Airbnb, but as you're furnishing it, think about how easy it's going to be to clean it. So if you're already thinking like the cleaner, whether it's you or someone you're going to hire, as you move into the next steps of actually furnishing your short-term rental, think about the materials you select, right? The sofa material, are you going to put curtains up? When are you going to clean those? Like all the things that you like are imagining in your mind that are beautiful. How easy is it for you to go from guest to guest, especially if you have what we call a back-to-back? That means a guest is checking out that morning and another guest is checking in that evening. And that's really optimizing your rental and making as much money as possible. But you've got to optimize that time of getting it ready for that next guest. And what you choose now before you put things in that home matters.
Tip number 5, furnish your rental. We know you're so excited because like step 1, 2, 3, 4, like, oh my gosh, I want to get into designing and furnishing and building that furniture. Well, we're here now. This is the fun part. It's probably going to take a little longer than you think.
Probably.
It always does.
No, I'm on my like 30th and I'm still like, why are we a month behind what I thought? So, and we planned a ton. So we're going to give you tips here, but just know like it's so, because there's so many things that you can't control too when you're furnishing. Shipping, you wanted this and they had it when you ordered it. Now they don't. You got to make a new decision. Like just get ready to make decisions.
And be prepared to pivot. too.
Yes.
We don't want you delaying. Let's say you had your eye on this amazing couch, but it is back ordered for 6 months. Let's go. We got to open those doors. We want you to be hosting guests. So this is an important part. Just there will be some decision fatigue. You will have to pivot, but we just want to prep you for that. So give yourself ample amount of time and then add on some time. Create a budget ahead of time too, and then add on a little money to that budget. But we want to share right now too, this is when you're ordering everything, especially if you're starting from scratch, when you're ordering everything for your short-term rental, this is the time that you want to be saving all of the receipts, all the information of everything that you are purchasing. If there were ever to be any damages, even if you need to return or exchange it, damages while shipping, damages if a guest is there.
You might need it for tax reasons too. Your CPA might request all the things inside the walls of your short-term rental. You might be able to take some tax advantages there. So you need proof of purchase and how much you purchased them for. So there are tons of reasons why you need to reference receipts and where you got them from and all that stuff. So I would have a spreadsheet. I would have a file full of your receipts. It's great if you can digitize them so you don't risk losing it or the print wearing away after a long period of time. But yes, tracking it.
And this furnishing, this is a time, this is where you really want to just, you're gonna be hosting these overnight guests. So there's so many things to think about. Not only how your beds are gonna be really important, your sheets, your towels, everywhere people are going to sit. I mean, you have to order everything, forks, knives. We have an essentials checklist. We'll make sure to link that below so you can make sure that you have everything.
Have this checklist and get everything on it. We've been curating this list for years and years, and we use this very checklist to this day. And I'm telling you, the reason why things are on this checklist are because guests rave about them. I also want to give you a little story of a recent short-term rental we just opened. And again, we've been doing this for a really long time. We've opened a ton of them, and we are doing it at this point in 3 phases. So I want to give you some permission to not let things that either aren't there or are going to take longer than anticipated to open your doors. Because the longer you wait to open your doors, the more expensive it actually takes. So for example, we just set up this 1 bed, 1 bath short-term rental. It's so cute. But we knew we wanted to get wallpaper over the bed. It's like this big, bold print. And in our minds, it's going to be the first image most of the time on Airbnb. We change it around a lot of times, but this will be the image that we'll have first because the colors and the print are very different than our competitors. But the paper got delayed, right? So we didn't want to wait any longer to open our doors. So we made sure the wall had to be painted anyway. So we opened our doors and just took decent photos with our iPhone and uploaded them to the OTAs, and we put it in the listing like, hey, this is our soft opening. We're still waiting for some final decor materials, so photos will be updated soon. This tells people who are booking, like, you are on top of your stuff. You realize these photos could be better. They realize that like there might be something missing in the wall that you might see, but come and say the hospitality is still gonna be incredible, and it was. And then we blocked off some time when the paper finally came in, installed on the wall. Phase 3, we wanna put a runner on the stairs. That's been a whole thing, but we're not gonna not open our doors up before these things happen. So just a little permission to like phase it out.
But also do the phases though, because we can share this with you. Once you open your doors are open. So you want to give yourself some time to get that stuff taken care of.
No, you do it right, and like you're gonna have to block off time because you're like, shoot, I'm probably gonna get booked. Like you follow our advice, and that's gonna be exactly what happens for you. But yeah. Number 6, set up your supply closet. Disclaimer, your supply closet might not even be in your property. I learned a few years ago that like, heck, properties in Arizona don't have basements like we do here in Ohio. So take this all with a grain of salt and make it applicable to wherever you live and what you have in terms of storage. But you do need some storage.
And just supplies in general. You need your toilet paper, your paper towel, your coffee, your tea, your salt, your pepper. All of these supplies obviously aren't going to be ordered when you're doing your furnishing. So you're going to have to do this whole supply audit. Make sure that you have all of those, we like to call them consumables. Shampoo, conditioner, dish pods, laundry detergent. Whew.
Just get our essentials
the
checklist.
list goes on and on. But we want to let you know, you got to make sure this is organized, okay? Because guess what? Your guests are going to look in every closet. They're going to open every drawer and every cabinet. So you want to make sure you're stocked, loaded, and it's organized for that guest. Tip 7, get professional photos. You are a professional host. You need to get professional photos. I still cannot believe when I skim Airbnb the amount of people that have not made this investment. It is a game changer. Level up. You are going to stand out in a crowd with getting these professional photos. Plus, you're hiring an artist in your town. Who doesn't want to do that? You're giving some, another small business owner a job. And I'm telling you, this is a standout way to get your property noticed. You've spent so much time, energy, money. Don't stop now. You want to make sure you do that. One last investment, get those professional photos.
The only way a guest can even look at a property to be interested in, they don't come to a property and walk it before they book you.
This is how you're selling your property. This is how you're selling your stay.
All the things you just said, you bought the property, you furnished it, you're doing all these things, and then you're gonna not have the best depiction of what you're offering.
Right. And go to Airbnb right now. Go to your town. You will scroll through and you will immediately notice someone that was taking their own photos versus hiring a professional.
And they might be Sarah phase 1,
right?
Yeah,
Absolutely. But maybe your photographer can't get there. Let's get it up.
Just remember that not all photographers though are created equal.
Right. Ooh, so not just any photographer.
Right.
You know,
it's not just a real estate photographer. A lot of real estate photographers who are selling a property, remember, most people are going to come and walk the property before they make that
typical real estate for sale.
Right. And that style usually is in every 4 corners of the rooms. That's about it. Remember, you're selling an experience. You're selling a lifestyle while they're away from home. And so what can you do to really sell the story, the experience your guest is going to have while in your spot? So you might want to have the photographer somehow romanticize your coffee station, right? Or how comfy your bed is, those pillow options that you have, or that fire pit outside. If you don't offer a lot of amenities, a lot of our properties are 1 bedrooms downtown Columbus, we still want to be able to highlight how comfy and clean it is, and it's not going to be told in just taking photos in all the corners of the property. So when you find a photographer, interview them, ask them, have you done photos for Airbnb and Verbos and other furnished rentals? Can I see your work? How do you feel when you see them? Do you want to go in there and experience that place? If not, if you don't like the vibe, interview someone else.
And you want to have a shot list ready for them. And this is a great opportunity for you to take your profile pic. You can be all, ready to go, you and potentially your business partner, life partner. But listen, have a shot list prepared for them. You want to go room by room and have that list ready for them so you know exactly what you want them to take, and have that inspiration too. If there are other Airbnbs that you love the photos, make sure you gather those inspo pictures for them too. That is really going to make sure that you feel that this service that you're paying for, you want to prep them for what you want and need.
Number 8, set up your Airbnb listing.
This is an exciting time. This is when you're finally your time, your money, everything. You gotta put all of your info into Airbnb though, so you can market to the world. And that's what's so amazing. You're gonna be marketing to the world. So we hear a lot of hosts get hung up here though. They get nervous and there's so many questions that how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, all of the amenities that you have. But listen, this is not set in stone. You're gonna be able to go back, and if you need to make alterations, no stress. Don't let this roadblock you at all. We want you to go in and just get excited about this part of your listing and your profile.
Let me give you some highlights about this experience, okay? When you go to list your first property, Airbnb is going to be Airbnb, and make it so simple, and it is simple, but I want you to take away that it's not your complete listing isn't done once they walk you through that initial process, okay? You will have to go back. They're going to celebrate. You're going to see Brian Chesky's CEO headshot. It's very exciting, and that's great. But you do make sure that you know that is not the end of setting up your listing, because they haven't even scratched the surface of asking you questions about your property and setting up really important things. You will set your price, your base price, but they don't give you the opportunity to set up other aspects of your pricing, which is a whole other video, or other things like your cleaning fee, which is really important. That might be the number one thing that people forget to go back and set. You get booked, and then you're not charging a separate fee, or at least making it a part of your pricing structure so that you get compensated for that. So just know that
This is like the quick win that they give you.
Yeah.
So it's like the condensed version, like the Cliff Notes version. So you can get up really quick, but you're gonna have to go back in and do detail work.
Let me go over some of the major components of your listing, okay? Your title. Do not waste space here with fluffy words, with words that your competitors around you are using, with aspects about your rental that are listed elsewhere, like how many beds and baths you have, okay? Think about right now, if you're gonna open it up in the next couple days or next few weeks, what are some words that people might be searching for in your area? Like if it's summertime, maybe those words should be about your outdoor patio or your pool or something like that. If it's winter, maybe it's about your fireplace or your s'mores kit. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like think about seasonality with your title, and that title is important. The next up is the description, and it's the description that they see before they press see more. So again, I know that you're in love with your rental, but try not to use fluffy words. Try not to write like a romantic novel.
You want to get to the point. They're shopping through a sea of listings, so the more information you can give them concisely,
hit them with the
better.
good stuff. Like whether it's because of your location to other things, whether it's the amenities you offer, like be very, like the more clear you can be comprehensive, but keep the really important stuff towards the top of this big block that they give you so that people can see it without having to press show more. And then the next thing that you should do is the amenities section is super comprehensive, and it's going to ask you for things like what brand name is your microwave, your fridge, your oven. So how many burners do you offer? So you're gonna really need to, I like to be in the rental when I do this part. It's very helpful.
And the more boxes you can check there, the better. So if there's a small amenity that you don't have that is inexpensive, you can get quickly, add that. And you can always go back and add more.
Those are the components about setting up your listing that I think are appropriate for this video here, but just know you're also going to have to upload like your license information, your bank information, your photos, upload them, and you can add text underneath them, and that's real estate. You should optimize it. So just know that there's information about your property, and to be very to the point and try not to get too fluffy, and look how your competitors are sharing their listings. See what you like and don't like about it so you can make decisions for yours.
Number 9, host a test stay.
Why do I sometimes skip this and I shouldn't? Because let me tell you a story. I told you a story about another listing. We did it for that one. For this other one that I just did, I don't know why. I thought I was like, I got this. I don't need to take my own advice anymore. And I didn't do a test stay. I was working there till 2 a.m. Like, I'm like, surely I go to the bathroom there. I've washed the towels there, like before the guests are, surely it's ready. No, the guest checked in and pointed out that we didn't have a trash can, and there's something else we didn't have either. So like the pressure test stay, the test stay
is so important.
Don't skip it.
And this is where you don't do your own test stay.
No.
Okay? You have a truth-telling friend come, all right? And you treat them as if they were a paying guest, okay? You want to send them the check-in instructions, the Wi-Fi instructions. You want them to pack a bag. You actually want them to spend the night because you want them sleeping in your bed. You want them watching TV. You want them using your hot water. You want them making, they can make some dinner, maybe also coffee in the morning, go outside, enjoy the outdoor space. And you want them to take a shower and like, oh, where am I going to put my towel? There wasn't a hook. Or, oh, I went to make decaf coffee. You only had caffeinated coffee. This truth-telling friend, you want them to take notes and let you know of the good, the bad, the ugly, but the stuff that maybe you potentially forgot, that's where you really want them to just pressure test it. And I mean, it's all the things too, little things like turning on all the light switches. These small things end up being really big if you don't have them covered, especially when you have your paying guests come for the first time.
Tip number 10, go live. Okay, we say this is a tip because you're like, well, no, duh, but it's like, no, like, go live, like, press, like, do it. And here's the thing.
Do the thing.
We hope you consume all of our videos. We also have a podcast. Go over there, check it out. You're still you'll make less mistakes, but you're still gonna find things out about your property because every guest is a snowflake, every home is a snowflake, so then you marry the two and they stay with you, and every stay is now a snowflake, which just means that like there's so many details that are just different about about it, and that's good. But you got to go live, you got to get started, and then just know that this really is just the beginning.
Yeah, you've crossed that finish line of all of these steps, but now there's a new starting line of becoming that super host and hosting guests for hopefully a really long time.
And with that, I am Sarah Karakayan.
I'm Annette Grant, and together we are
Thanks for visiting.